Reformers not only have been seduced by national standards and by dreams of top-down accountability, but they've also been led astray by a narrow vision of what education is for. And so let me start by saying what I think education is for. I think education is really just an extension of parenting. It's just part of what we do to prepare children for their adult lives. And maybe it's foolish, but human beings have come up with an arrangement in most parts of the globe for several millennia where the dominant arrangement is that the biological mother and father tend to make parenting decisions for their own children. Now, there could be other arrangements. We could have, communal child rearing. We could have children, raised by professionals. But that has not been the dominant arrangement, and probably with good reason. We have reason to believe that biological parents are properly incentivized to make reasonably good choices for their own children. They're going to make mistakes, no doubt. They're going to have limited information. But then again, so do well-meaning but distant bureaucrats. They're going to make mistakes too. And whose mistakes would you rather have made? I'd rather make my own mistakes than have someone else make mistakes on my behalf. So, if that's what education is for, well then parents want lots of different things for their children in raising them to be adults. Yes, they want their children to have work-related skills. Yes, they want them to be employed and to live independently, right? I mean, parents generally want this, but they don't want just that. That's not all that education is to most parents. Most parents really care a lot about values. They care about what kinds of people their children become. And that's a big part of parenting, and it should be a big part of education. But by turning our children over to the government to be raised in a government-operated school, we have de-emphasized these value questions because we're uncomfortable having the government address values. But we've just removed from education a big part of what really needs to be there, which is the development of our children into the kinds of human beings that we wish them to be. Now, reformers have been problematic on this, in particular from the business community. So the business community says, look, my workers are lousy. I want better workers. I need the school system to produce better workers. So they really have put a big emphasis on improving work-related skills in schools. And this is part of why we've focused so heavily on testing in math and reading, because we think that these are kind of core work-related skills. But it's not just there, it goes beyond that. I mean, there are reform movements represented by 21st Century Skills, Tony Wagner. I don't know if any of this strikes you at all, it's familiar, but it's a whole reform movement that basically we should be changing school systems so that they're more relevant to employers. So rather than doing algebra, which most people will never need in the workforce, so says Tony Wagner, we should have them study statistics. And by the way, by statistics, it really means kind of read a pie chart. It doesn't really mean run a t-test. So that's a narrowing of the vision of education as job training. So instead of literature, well, who really needs poetry for the workplace? Instead, we need to focus more on communication skills, collaborative skills, PowerPoint presentations. I can assure you that one thing that our children will not need in 10 years is PowerPoint. It's almost certainly the case that this technology will be replaced by something else. I have no idea what it will be. And I don't know how to train children for a technology that we haven't even developed yet. And so in fact, one of the perverse things of this narrow focus on work-related skills is that it will privilege existing employers over future employers. Employers who don't even exist yet. They don't even know what skills they're going to need from their workers yet. And so rather than saying the real point of school is to prepare kids for jobs, the real point is to prepare them to be good human beings, which includes being able to work, but it doesn't consist entirely of being able to